Sam, I never knew dyspraxia was part of your life. I knew that you did relate some form of learning disability that you had to cope with, and that's what many people have to do in life nowadays. And you're right, unfortunately, it does attach a stigma um, by many people, thinking that, well, he's different than others, and it tends to be somewhat uh, uh, a barrier for many people. But then again, barriers are also made to be broken by most, especially with um, what people can actually do now. I've done some research. For those of you who don't know what dyspraxia is, there's quite a long list of items that affect people that are classified under dyspraxia. Developmental dyspraxia is a motor learning difficulty that can affect planning of movements and coordination as a result of brain messages not being accurately transmitted to the body. To that, they relate to cerebral palsy as one of them, muscular dystrophy, multiple sclerosis, or Parkinson's disease. It tends to be in absence of that they say dyspraxia is affecting you. It's known in the medical community as SPLD, and it does not affect overall intelligence or ability, which, as we all know, Sam shows us that he's quite capable of coping. And to be able to do something in a field that demands so much of a person who is affected by dyspraxia, the brain is a marvelous tool in the sense that sometimes it marvels even the scientists as to what it's capable. There's two. How do they put it? The term dyspraxia comes from the word praxis, which means doing, acting, and well, dys, which means dysfunctional, not being capable of working the way that what we put as normalcy should be. It affects the planning of what to do and how to do it, and it's associated with problems of perception, language, and thought. Dyspraxia is described as having two main elements. Sam did outline these. They're ideational dyspraxia, which is difficulty with planning a sequence of coordinated movements, and ideomotor dyspraxia, which is difficulty with executing a plan even though it is known. The way that they say it really interferes with the body, based on scientists and doctors, neurophysicists, and a whole bunch of people that work with the brain. Developmental dyspraxia is difficulty getting our bodies to do what we want when we want them to do it. This is, before I completely forget, this is from impaired or abnormal, and praxis meaning action or deed. The epidemiology about the actual type of symptom, meaning how much of a percentage is affected on a global or local scale. It's a lifelong condition that is more common in males than in females, with a ratio of approximately 4 men to every woman. The exact proportion of people with the disorder is unknown, since the disorder can be difficult to detect due to a lack of specific laboratory tests, thus making diagnoses of the condition one of the elimination and of all other possible causes disease. Basically, you're going through a house phase. They're going to treat you for many things before they eventually reach the bit that actually hits your range. It's like abnormal bowel syndrome. It's a catch-all for everything that they can't really properly diagnose. But they do have a lot of background that they have to work on. It's usually done on developmental history, detailing ages at which significant developmental milestones such as crawling and walking occurred. Motor skills are screened using activities designed to indicate dyspraxia, including balancing, physical sequencing, touch sensitivity, and variations on walking abilities. There's a baseline motor assessment that they use. I mean, they're not completely helpless because it's not something that is unknown. It's just very difficult to catch. It's like Lyme disease, where the tick is actually in your hair and nobody notices it because you've got a thick head of hair. And you haven't mentioned about having an itch on your head. The US is affected by it. The UK is affected by it. There's a lot of countries that are affected by it. In fact, it wouldn't be unknown to have cases here in Canada that are not put in. They give us what they actually have as developmental profiles. Speech and language could be affected. Difficulties controlling the speech organs. Making speech sounds, sequencing words within a word, forming words into sentences. Difficulty controlling breathing and phonation. Slow language development, difficulty with feeding. Fine motor controls, learning basic movement patterns, developing a desired writing speed. The acquisition of graphemes. Example, the letters of the Latin alphabet as well as numbers. In other words, what we learn to actually be able to read and write. Establishing the correct pencil grip, hand aching while at writing. That can also cause difficulty with a wide variety of other tasks, such as using a knife and fork, fastening buttons and shoelaces, cooking, brushing one's teeth, applying cosmetics, styling one's hair. I don't think Sam has those issues. Trust me, he's got the hair to prove it. Opening jars and packets, locking and unlocking doors, shaving and doing housework. Whole body movement coordination and body image. Why body image, I don't know, but poor timing, poor balance, sometimes even falling over in mid-step. Tripping over one's own feet is also common. It could be, if you know people that have two left feet when they walk, talk, dance, that could be it. Difficulty combining movements into a controlled sequence. Difficulty remembering the next movement in the sequence. Problems with spatial awareness, or what they call proprioception. Proprioception. Some people with dyspraxia have trouble picking up and holding on to simple objects, owing to poor muscle tone and or proprioception. Some people, it can cause an individual to be clumsy to the point of knocking things over and bumping into people accidentally. Ergo, this could be actually tied into being Clouseau-esque. Some people with dyspraxia have difficulty in determining left from right. Cross-laterality and ambidexterity and a shift in the preferred hand are also common in people with dyspraxia. People with dyspraxia may also have trouble determining the distance between them and other objects. They go on and on about all of it, but the amazing thing is that it affected so many people that it's amazing. They have names going back in time. Collier first described developmental dyspraxia as congenital maladroitness. Jean Eyre referred to it as a disorder of sensory integration in 1972, while in 1975, Dr. Sasson-Goubet called it clumsy child syndrome. It has also been called minimal brain dysfunction, although the two latter names are no longer in use. Other names include dyspraxia, developmental coordination disorder, a subtly different condition by definition and practice, but very similar. Sensory motor dysfunction, perceptual motor dysfunction, motor learning difficulties. The World Health Organization, or the WHO, currently lists developmental dyspraxia as specific developmental disorder of motor function. That's officially what it's called. Notable dyspraxics. Here are the long list of people that have that are known dyspraxics. Daniel Radcliffe, as he's noted. David Bailey, photographer. Florence Welch from Florence and the Machine, and actress Hannah MacDonald. That's just a few. It's difficult to ascertain whether someone now deceased who was not diagnosed in his or her lifetime was dyspraxic or not. However, some deceased people suspected to have been dyspraxic include physicist Albert Einstein, although it is subject to some debate, as some have argued that he may have had Asperger's syndrome. Writers suspected to have had the condition include Emily Bronte, Charlotte Bronte, poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge, G.K. Chesterton, Ernest Hemingway, Jack Kerouac, and George Orwell. Helen Burns, a character from Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, is alleged to have been based on the author's dyspraxic elder sister, Maria Bronte. And there's a load of information. But Sam, you're still who we love, regardless of what you have. And you've shown to us that you've been able to cope and compensate quite well. And to all those that suffer from any form of dysfunction, coping is what the body does best. That's why it's so vast and so undefined yet by science and medicine that it's still a mystery and still one of life's biggest successes that we've always enjoyed. So let's be thankful on those that have full body movement, that have all all the 2 arms, 2 legs, toes, feet, everything functional, and that we're not stuck somewhere that's being impacted by a natural disaster. With that said, Sam, have a nice one.